Maintaining a multitude of sales laws across the EU is a burden for both consumers and businesses alike. It makes cross-border trade both costly and difficult. A single law would help to boost trade as well as consumer choice, say its advocates. A new common European sales law, a draft of which was adopted by Parliament's Committee for Legal Affairs this week, would offer a single set of rules across Europe. Instead of only dealing with a contract in just the seller's country, it would offer with one mouse click an identical, user-friendly contract applicable across the EU 28 countries. EU Justice Commissioner Viviane Reding described the 19-3 committee vote as an important signal and the right tool for cutting costs for SMEs and more opportunities for consumers to shop across borders. Co-rapporteur on the law is EPP Group member Klaus-Heiner. He says that the benefits are substantial and outweigh concerns about a complicated secondary legal setup having to be established.
In the current system, legal users have to use 29 different systems in the member states in parallel. That will not be the case in the future. If it's decided to use the optional instrument, then domestic law is used for domestic business and for cross-border business the optional model. Thus, we reduce 29 different systems down to 2. That is a significant alleviation of the problem.
A real focus of the proposed law is to unburden small and medium-sized enterprises. They face high cross-border transaction costs, which include legal fees and translation. Proponents of the law say that currently SMEs forego at least 26 billion euros a year in business because owners don't want to deal with the hassle or high cost of dealing with another country's sales laws. Lena says the new regulation would help improve uptake, for example, of only 9% at the moment on cross-border online transactions between EU member states.
A decisive advantage for consumers is quite simple. In the future there will be a legal system and doesn't involve the risk of it landing in 29 different legal systems. And from the business provider's perspective, it's the same advantage. It makes it easier in that he only has to deal with 2 possible systems. So in the future he'll be able to offer a jurisdiction that he previously couldn't offer.
Proponents equally point to a recent survey showing that 71% of European companies would choose one single European contract law to deal with. The recent adoption of the European Consumer Rights Directive, which comes into effect in 2014, is helpful but not enough, says Lena.
The decisive reason is that back then one tried to achieve a maximum harmonization through a consumer contract route, but that failed. Basically only certain aspects were fully harmonized, with others only the minimum standard was applied. The result is that in the EU there are 29 different laws, and that indeed doesn't work. Those are real significant internal market obstacles for both sides, for consumers as well as vendors. And for this reason we have to create such an optional system as this.
A common European sales law would be a huge step towards giving consumers greater confidence in doing business across borders. In the end, small businesses and smaller EU national markets stand most to gain if buyers and sellers alike recognize that they are protected by a single regulation. Find out more about the activities of Parliament's largest political force by going to eppgroup.eu. Thanks for looking in, and see you again soon.